Hi, it's Mrs. Golding, and we are working in your math packet, and we are on page 6, problem number 2. My friend Gianna, which I actually don't know anyone with that name, but I think it's pretty, she is paid $90 for 5 hours of work. And so we're asked some questions here. At this rate, so I see this word rate, how much would Gianna make for 8 hours of work? And number 2, at this rate, how long would Gianna have to work to make $60? So this is a rate problem, right? And every rate problem is also a ratio problem. RATIO, right? Ratio. Every ratio is just a fraction, right? Every ratio is just fraction. And every fraction is just a division problem. All right, so these are some cool ways to kind of think about how everything's related, right? So that vinculum, which a lot of us think of as that fraction bar, where we have a numerator and a denominator, right? That's a y. Then that's division, right? That vinculum tells me to divide. That's also a ratio and a fraction, and it can also be a rate. If you find a unit rate, then your denominator is 1. Okay, so it all goes together. All right, so we're going to take this and we're going to build a ratio table. Now, a ratio table is nothing more than just a way to organize our information, okay? Now, I am organizing the two things that are in my problem, money and hours, right? Hours. Now, if I thought about this as an X, Y, in other words, like this, X, Y, X here, Y here, then I'm thinking of money and I'm thinking of hours, right? So in this instance, hours would be my X value because it's my independent variable. And my money is my Y value. If I wanted to write it like a T table, right? And I could easily graph from this. So my money, the amount of money I earn depends on how many hours that I work. Okay, we're just going to look at it like this, a little bit different, kind of like a T table flipped on its side. So we're going to put in our rate that we know. We know that Gianna makes $90 for 5 hours of work. 5 hours of work. Now, with that being said, we want to know how much she would make in 8 hours of work, right? In 8 hours of work. Well, if you remember, wouldn't it be nice? Think about it this way. The problem doesn't ask us this, but how much would she earn for 10 hours of work? When you look at this, 5 times 2 is 10. So if I do the same thing here, 90 times 2, wouldn't she make $180? Yeah, you remember this. Well, we can't do something nice and neat like that because 5 doesn't go into 8 evenly. I don't get a nice integer, right? So in this respect, a unit rate is super helpful. So how much does Gianna make in 1 hour? How could I find that, right? Well, how do I go from 5 to 1? What do I multiply or divide by? Since I'm scaling down, right, I'm going to divide. 5 divided by 5 divided by 5, okay, divided by 5 gives me 1. Well, I could do the same thing here. 90 divided by 5 can give me how much she makes in 1 hour. So I want you to take a minute and figure out the unit rate that Gianna is paid. So how much does she make per hour? Then join me back for the next video.